Hello everybody, I'm Casey, and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About. Today, let's continue the Pokemon 20th anniversary celebration and talk about how Pokemon Black and White could have been perfect. Now, before I start, let me make something perfectly clear. I really like Black and White. I had a great time watching it. While the overall approach is pretty much as stagnant as the show has become at this point, they actually managed to throw in some great adventure arcs and even a few clever story ideas. But the Black and White seasons of the anime tend to turn a lot of people off, the reasons for which elude me. I mean, I've heard the most common complaints, like Iris and Silent being terrible traveling companions who aren't nearly as endearing as Brock and Misty, and Team Rocket's weird boost in competency. I feel like the Iris and Silent thing is up to personal preference, but beyond the fact that they're not Brock and Misty, I found it tough to find any other arguments about why these two are considered bad characters. Well, there is one with Iris, but I'll get to that later. And while Team Rocket's sudden ability is kind of jarring on a first watch through, it leads to some of the more exciting episodes of the Black and White series, so I was willing to let it slide. That is until I realized that there is a big problem with Black and White. It's pretty much the root of many people's complaints, and if it changed, these seasons could have been a lot stronger. The biggest problem with Pokemon Black and White is that Ash Ketchum is still the protagonist. Even ignoring the fact that he's somehow still 10, Ash got a big downgrade in these seasons. He was less competent in battle, whined more, and he's connected to some of the other complaints. For example, a big complaint with Iris is how much she puts Ash down and calls him a little kid. So I guess some people blame Ash's immaturity on Iris, which isn't really fair because Ash acts this way with or without Iris provoking him. While I enjoyed the overall experience of Black and White more than I did Diamond and Pearl, I will be the first to admit that Ash is a much better trainer in those seasons. It seemed like he had learned from all the experience he had before, and was able to take on much tougher trainers, including Ash's most brutal rival to date. But with Black and White, all of that experience seems to be completely gone. It's like he's back at square one, which is a huge problem as far as gym battle and tournament episodes go, which I hear are the episodes most people see. So, how is this fixed? Well, I think this would have been the perfect time for Ash to pass the torch of main character to someone else. I get why they kept Ash for the advanced generation. After the big change in location and companions, they probably wanted to keep Ash around for something familiar for the audience to come back to. But the 5th generation implemented so much change, with a big clean slate and a whole new region to explore without many ties to the previous generations. So this would have been the perfect time to finally bring in a new protagonist. There's only one problem I could see them facing with this. I've had a theory for a while now that at this point, they don't want to keep Ash in the show so much as they want to keep Pikachu. Think about it, Pikachu is the mascot for the franchise, and Ash's Pikachu represents that. Not to mention we all know Ash's Pikachu is special. I realize this is Pokemon we're talking about, but it would take quite a lot of suspension of disbelief to give some other kid a Pikachu that just happens to be powerful enough to convince a team of criminals to waste all of their time and resources chasing it Wile E. Coyote style. But you know what? This could have been fixed in Black and White as well, in the very first episode. For those who don't know, the first episode of Pokemon Black and White has Ash quickly confronting the legendary Pokemon Zekrom. Pikachu confronts it and is electrocuted by Zekrom, which causes Pikachu's electric attacks to be temporarily disabled. So, if you ever wondered how Pikachu lost that infamous battle to a trainer's presumably level 5 Snivy, that's sort of why. But, what if Zekrom's attack had a different effect? Picture this. A new trainer in Unova either comes across a rare Pikachu in the wild, or already has one, that accidentally confronts Zekrom just like Ash's Pikachu. But instead of being zapped and having that disable its attacks, what if it increased them? What if this beginner's Pikachu suddenly has the power of a legendary Pokemon inside of it, and is very strong because of it? You could even make it Thunderbolt Blue like Zekrom to add in some unique marketing. This would also give Team Rocket a reason to chase some other random kid for a Pikachu. Heck, it'd probably be a better reason than chasing Ash's Pikachu at this point. But how would this explain Team Rocket's big boost in competency? Well, here's an idea. Some people have thought that a good way to progress the Pokemon anime is to put in a time skip. I agree, and this would be a great place for it. Imagine if after the events of Diamond and Pearl, Jessie, James, and Meowth were sent on bigger and better missions away from their constant pursuit of Ash. Meanwhile, Ash continues his Pokemon journey off-screen and actually makes a big name for himself after working on top of the accomplishments he made in the Sinnoh League. A couple of years later, Team Rocket are assigned to the Unova region, much more focused on the job at hand, and suddenly come across this kid with a Pikachu capable of being as strong as a legendary Pokemon. The new kid sets off on his own journey, meets Iris and Silent and travels with them, learns how to be a competent trainer and how to properly train a Pikachu with such a unique power, and has a great Pokemon journey. I get why they dumbed Ash down as the show went on. At the end of the day, the anime is there to promote the game and help new fans understand the basic story and mechanics of the game. I don't get why Ash is still our hero in general. To me, he is the major problem with Pokemon Black and White, and the series could have been a great time to reboot the franchise. The Black and White seasons changed a lot of things, and for the most part, they were for the better. While the show's formula mostly stayed the same, the changes gave way for different stories and perspectives on other familiar stories. I just wish they went all the way with it. While the X and Y series seems to be doing a good job at making Ash a better trainer, and while I do still like Ash, I think he's overstayed his welcome. It should be time for our animated journeys in the Pokemon world to be led by someone else, and let Ash finally become the Pokemon master he's always wanted to be. Who knows, maybe once we get Pokemon Sun and Moon, the torch will finally be passed. Probably not, but hey, I can dream, can't I? Let me know what you think of this topic in the comments. Did you like Black and White, or did you hate it? Do you like that Ash is still the protagonist, or do you think it's time for him to move on? Come back next time to see what else I have in store for Pokemon's 20th anniversary. Until then, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.